Hello, everybody. How are y'all doing? Welcome to the channel. Back again today. We have got such an awesome person with us today. He finally agreed to come on the channel. Not that it was hard. He's like, I was so happy he's here though. But anyway, our very own Busy. Come on, Busy. Welcome to the channel. Hey, Busy.
Hey, Ladybug, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. You there?
Hang on a second. I'm just hearing a bunch of clicking. All right, is that better?
Yeah. And then I try to take care of my noise back here too, so I didn't know. Because you're going to hear me clicking because I'm clicking on this button over here unless I pause. But are you good? Busy? Uh-oh. Busy. What's up, Army? Yeah, let's fill the room up to see what's going on. Busy? If you can't, you can go out and come right back in. I'll bring you right back in if you're having technical difficulties. What's up? I was saying hi to you earlier, Zico. What's up? Okay. All right, so let me remove that one then and pull that one. Can you say something now?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was just hearing a bunch of clicking. I wasn't sure what that was. Sounded like a bunch of bugs running around.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, we got that part out of the way. Welcome to the channel, Busy. Welcome.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited and vaulted. I'm excited to be on the channel with you. Always impressed by Ladybug. Always glad to see you early in the morning and all through the night sometimes.
It's real. The voice chat's real.
Oh yeah, definitely. All the way since the first time that I stepped into the voice chat, and I've told this story before, but I'll tell it again, and I may add a little something that I've never said before. But the first day that the voice chat was open, I popped in there. I was in the regular chat, and one of the people in the chat said, "Hey, come to the voice chat." And I started not to go into the voice chat because in all of the other projects that I had gone into before I went into the voice chat, and at that time, I had lost my voice, so I couldn't really speak very much. And I would go into the voice chats and sitting there quietly listening. They a lot of them would just kick you out. So no fun or nothing. They would just kick you out. So I jumped into the voice chat, and there was Mr. Pablo and several other people. Now the name Busy Bee, I wasn't using that at the time. So sometimes you hear Pablo say, about the first 4 or 5 guys that was in there. I did have a different account then. I still have that account. I just don't use it very much. But anyway, I got into the chat, and Pablo and a couple other guys, Rodrigo, and there was a couple other guys in there talking, and it was just really raw. It was just really raw, and Pablo was talking about people getting dumped on their head, and him dumping on people's heads, and they were he was being honest about the crypto space, and I immediately recognized that as what people were really looking for, and I think it was kind of what I was looking for. I was looking for, an honest place, or somebody who was really real about crypto, because all of the other chats and voice chats that I had been in, it was all manufactured, and you could pretty much tell they were being false about everything. But in that voice chat with Pablo and the few people that were in there, it was all real, and Bolt has stayed that way. Um, so they were talking one day. I was in there listening as usual. They hadn't kicked me out, so I was still kind of hanging around, and they started talking about, maybe we're a little bit too raw, because there was some cursing and things, and and they said, well, maybe people don't want to listen to this, and maybe we should take this to the back room, and that's when I spoke up and I said, hey guys, that's not what you should do. And I encouraged them. I said, don't change a thing about this chat. And that's one of the things that I've worked um, in Vote and in the chat, to kind of make sure that the chat doesn't change, and that it stays raw, and that people can come in and speak their piece, and share their stories. And so that's why Vote the Vote chat is really as dynamic as it is.
Wow. Wow. I didn't even know that. That's so crazy. Wow. So,
Yeah.
but when you were looking, how did you find Vote? How did you find Vote?
My story is kind of similar to Pablo's. I had come into the space, and um, I'm not a big chart guy. I'm more of I sort of take the bird's eye view on things, and I'm more of a behavioral guy. I kind of look at the way systems behave, and so I came into the space uh, from from stock trading, OTC trading, and then also some did some forex trading. So had that kind of backgrounds, came into the space, and I was like, I don't really know how this crypto space acts. So let me check it out. So I threw some money in a bag, and I just started dropping bags, here and there, just to kind of see how the space operated. And I found a lot of what everybody else found. A lot of lazy developers. Um, and I found out about the contracts, and I do a lot of work with contracts. So I said, let me check and see, what these contracts are about. So I started looking at the contracts, and what I found, a lot of duplicated contracts. Um, so basically, what they were doing is, someone built the contract, and it's, whatever they had in their contract worked, and a little bit. And so these developers, they would grab the contract and they would copy it, um, kind of follow through the process. And most of the contracts, they had their roadmaps on it, and there's about 4 or 5 things in the roadmap that were kind of easy to do. And a lot of people would come in, they would start the contract up, and they say, oh, we got to get listed on CMC, and we got to get listed on CoinGecko, um, and we got to get 100 followers on Twitter, and we got to get our web page up. So those are kind of some of the common things. But then when it got down to actually doing the work, they would just be lazy, or they would just give up. And even if they had a really decent project, there was one that I saw before Volt, and I said, well, man, this is a really decent project. But the dev, he just walked away from it. Um, so I saw a lot of that. So I said, you know what? Let me learn about these contracts. So I start reading the contracts, and I start looking for some of the things that I knew would make a cryptocurrency good. And I actually at one point said, you know what, the best thing I can do is just do it myself, right? So I started actually planning out to actually do my own token, right? So, but in the meantime, I said, well, let me keep looking around at different
Wow.
contracts, and um, uh, somebody sent me a message, and they said, hey, check out Volt. And actually, I had seen the Volt name. I was just kind of going through the list of tokens, and that that name and that token actually has some significance for me. So I said, well, I'm going to go and check it out. And I went in, and that's when I came into the chat, and and met Pablo and the other people that were there, and that's kind of how I got into Volt.
Wow.
And I came in, um, as a fudder. Because, and I'm gonna tell you why I came in as a fudder. It wasn't like Power, Power with the Certec audit. For me, it was that damn dog, you know, because
Hello, you there? All right, you there?
all right, yeah, I'm here.
Okay, cool. All right.
Okay, so so it was the dog, right? So I was like, I've seen that dog. I had nephews and nieces and stuff like that, and my own children. I've seen them watching that dog, and I was like, we got to get rid of that dog, So um, so we started working on the dog, and people were putting in designs, and we it, the first Dow thing that we did, that everybody should know, was voting on that dog. And I've still got pictures of some of the dogs that people put out. Um, and then I think by the third day in, I started making a video based on the story that we said was behind the dog. So um, I put that video out and start using it. I started tweeting using that video. Wasn't a very good video, but you know, it was kind of a good start for us. Um, so it's amazing just to see the community now, knowing how we started. One or two people in the voice chat in that first week, with everybody just kind of dumping on us, and making it through that first week, and in through the New Year's Eve, is when from my recollection was the first time that somebody was in the chat 24/7 overnight. And um, if that hadn't happened, and if we all hadn't done what we did as far as buying up that dip, there would be no vote today. I don't think. But it was an interesting time. Um, it was actually a fun time. And if you're in Volt, um, by the time we get finished tonight, for those of you who are here listening, I hope I'm able to help you understand why you should hold your vote from now and going forward.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Today has been such a bullish day, busy. So freak I just woke up bullish. It's like what is going on? I'm still voting. It's out outdoors. It's been crazy today, man. What's your thoughts on the what's going on today, sir? What's going on?
Yeah, I was listening to the conversations. The conversation overnight was probably one of the funniest things I've ever heard from two of our members that are both kind of bullheaded guys, and it was so interesting listening to them. Um, and it's something that I'll remind the community of. So you had a gentleman who is, um, um, for most part, African, and you had a gentleman who was for most part Latino, and they were having a conversation, and it was pretty amazing to listen to that conversation, um, and to listen to the small barrier that they had because they were both arguing the same point, but they were arguing. So it was really interesting listening to that, and that's one of the things that I'll tell you that I noticed early on about Volt, and I've spoken about this before. Within that first 2 weeks, I recognized that Volt was already global. And that was amazing to me because in that first 2 weeks, we were speaking to people from Africa, we were talking to people from South America, we were talking to people from Canada, we were talking to people in the U.S. We were talking to people in Belgium. So we were talking to people in Europe. Um, we had people who were from Asia in the chat. We had people who were from Russia. So what I did was I sat down, I took a map out, and I started crossing lines to where people said they were from. We had a couple people come in from Italy, and so I was watching this, and I was like, this is interesting, because what I can tell you is that where there's one, there's two. So if you got one person in a place, and they commit to something, then they'll turn around and they'll tell there's somebody else, their spouse or their friend or relative, and then you'll have two, and then two becomes four, and four becomes eight, and so on and so forth. So I recognized that early on, and I'm like, well, wow, um, this is the only token that I've seen that's gone global in less than 2 weeks. Um, so that was amazing to me. And then um, the article popped up, the Nasdaq article, the Bazinga article, and then then the Bloomberg article. And
I want to
again,
ask you a
I'm
question on that real quick. I want to
mhm.
real quick. So for okay, the Nasdaq and those articles, how big are those? Basically, I guess that's what I want to ask. How big are
Well,
they?
Nasdaq, Bloomberg, Yahoo Finance, they're not going to waste their time, covering garbage. I mean, they're just not going to do it. And when I saw that, I was like, wow, because if you're into stocks, or if you do penny stocks, there are avenues where you can put out a press release, but it only goes to like the small presses. Um, um, you kind of write your own article, and they just kind of print it, and you can pay for that, but you'll never see those articles hit Nasdaq or Bazinga or Yahoo Finance or Bloomberg. To get an article on Bloomberg, um, you either got something, or you know something. So coming from the stock market, and seeing those articles like within the first 10 days, that just you know that just made me as bullish as I am now. And I was like, I'm definitely not going anywhere from this project. Um, so and those articles they just keep coming, and then to go from those initial articles to watching three guys that I've watched over the last year, really develop. You know, you might see that meme I put in the chat a lot of times that says, keep growing, keep developing. And I've had the pleasure of watching a lot of people
Okay, while he gets his voice thing together, what's up, chat? I'm excited about Busy being here. We've been spending all day. I'm in agreement. I've been spending all day. There you go. You back, sir? Uh-oh, Busy. Crypto vote
Okay.
girl. Hey.
Okay, I think I'm back.
Yeah, you're back now.
Okay. Sorry about that.
That's
Um,
okay. I just start talking until you come back. It's all good.
okay. Yeah, but I've been able to watch, a lot of people develop.
Oh no, did
Um,
you go
you
back
know,
real quick? That was quick.
uh,
All right.
can you got me?
Got some super bullish stuff.
Can you hear me?
Super bullish stuff. Tilt phone bullish. 1,000, what is it? 1,000, 1 trillion bullish, 1,000 bullish, Volti South bullish, VoltiFlex bullish, VDSC bullish. Did I give you Volti South bullish? Okay, did I get them all in there? Butoshi bullish. Okay, listen. All of that. Let's go. Are you back, Busy?
I I don't know. Am I? Can you hear me?
I think you are now.
Okay. So you can't hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay. So yeah, I got to watch everybody kind of grow. I picked on Power a little bit because he was so nervous the first AMA that we did. Um, and Pablo, was a champ that day too. He just, he told us, he said, "I'm gonna call on you," and he did. As he called on us, we all kind of stepped up and spoke about how we felt about the project. And I can tell you there were, I think, 4,400 holders at that time. So just think about that. It was only 4,400 holders. And at that time, and I still feel the same way now. I said those are the 4,400 smartest people uh, in America because they had bought in so early to this project, and um, you know, with the vision and reading the roadmap and looking at the contract that I kind of gathered for myself of what Votoshi's vision was. Um, you know, and I look far forward. There was no way that I was selling a token, um, and I've just been accumulating ever since. So, I encourage everybody if you believe in Volt, you should be accumulating right now. This is accumulation time. It's foundation time. So that's what you should be doing.
So when you say that, uh, which we know well for the people in the voice chat, most of us know that it's DCA time, but for the ones that don't know, uh, why is this an important time? Why is it so
Um,
important now in this time?
yeah. So since Volt was born in the bear market, which we really haven't seen the bear. Because Volt's been on the move the whole time. Um, and there's something I could probably show you. It's a little bit of a secret that I can show you if you could pull it up online, and I'll show you what I mean. But uh, the bear market is really a false flag. Um, um, but it's also real at the same time,
Mhm.
depending on where you hit the market, and then what you do during that time. And if you go back, and I always tell people to go back and look at the link tree, and if you just start at the top and look at that article, or look at the video of Pablo, Power, and Ozzy on the NASDAQ, and then go back and read the original articles, and then start working your way through the link tree, the picture that you will get will make it almost impossible for you to want to sell your bag. Okay. um and I say this is foundation time, because right now what we're doing is building, and that's what Votoshi is doing. Is he's building his plan. And the other thing that I noted about him is he is probably one of the best, if not the best, project manager I've ever seen. So I've done a lot of project management in my time, and the processes that he uses and the technique that he uses are, I mean, they're just top value. If you want to know how to really run a project, just watch Botoshi. This is how you run a project. Um, so I mean, I can give you some insight on what I mean.
Okay,
Um,
we do that. Also, you hit on Butoshi. Butoshi. Butoshi been the same since day one. But here, Butoshi is spinning. Butoshi is. It's like over this year's 13 months span, Butoshi has evolved.
yeah.
His personality is so freaking crazy. I love it. I love his personality.
Oh
I
yeah.
love the crazy
Yeah.
gifts he puts in. I love he just comes in with just crazy. But I mean, oh man, he's just a to me. He's just like he's still he's Vitoshi, but now it's like everything is it's like it's bubbling up on the inside of him. So like this morning he said, nobody's spending more than he is, which is true. But hey man,
Oh yeah.
Vitoshi,
Yeah.
Vitoshi, man.
Yeah, and what's really cool about Votoshi is the day that we gave him that name. It was that name came from in the community, and it was, they were kind of joking around about Ryoshi, and hey, are you Satoshi, and who are you? And we were talking about him being doxxed or not, not doxxed, and somebody said that name, and it stuck. And that's how when you're a kid, that's how you get a good nickname. Is it comes out of fun and laughter, and it sticks, and he took it, and he just rides with it. you know so it's really, really, really cool to see that. And then, I mean, his interaction with the chat, and I say he because I don't know he, she, group, but the interaction with the chat, and with the team, and with the project, and with the people that he's working with, and the admin that he's working with, and some of that growth that I'm talking about, coming from working with Votoshi, and even the members in the chat, watching the way he or she, or the person that is Votoshi, operates, and from a behavioral standpoint, I can see, the growth in just a lot of our members. I even remember when you first came into the chat, and to see what you're doing now, versus kind of the way you spoke about things when you first came in, is the kind of thing that I expect when people come into the chat, that they're going to grow. And that's the thing that in the long run, in the long run, that's going to beat out every other token in the space, um, is Botoshi's ability, to kind of add himself and his essence and his rhythm into the chat, so that it affects everyone in the chat, um, and eventually, that radiates out into the space, with things like Volti Change and VoltiFlex and Volti Eco, and Volti whatever we want to add, um, and Volti Dow, which I think is going to revolutionize the space, and what I think is what I refer to as the third wave.
Okay, okay. Because without the man, there's no project.
That's right. That's right. It's his vision.
There's no project. There's no vote. There's no brand. No nothing. There's nothing. So this is crazy.
Yeah, I
It's
mean
crazy.
it's his vision, no doubt, you know. So that coffee's really kicking in.
You jumping all over. But I love how when and you just pick random times to speak up. It's crazy when you do. It's funny. It'll be like 2 or 3 weeks, months, and then you'll decide to chime in. It might not be that long, but still, it'll be like okay. And then you come in with such wisdom, like and you talk just so when I easy, where anybody can understand, and you give so much wisdom and knowledge, and it's just I mean I just love being on the chat with you. I didn't even really I believe we talked I guess a couple times in the beginning, but then I had just got caught up, kind of got caught up with trying to how to be an admin and all this just stuff and blocking and banning people and whatever. Then it was all of a sudden, I don't know, probably 6 months ago, and I was like, he's still here. Okay, okay, okay. But you was always quiet. You're real quiet. And so, but when you speak, you have such knowledge and you've shared so much that, I felt like, I mean, you you're a big part. You're quiet, but you're a storm. A quiet storm. And so I just appreciate everything that you do, in the chat, and just being there solidifies vote as what it is, community for everybody, you know.
Yeah, I mean, thank you for that. I mean, it's good to know that what you're doing is having a positive effect. And for me, I told you kind of about the way I think about the chat. Um, and this is something I've said before, but I'll say it again because some people may have never heard it. But um, there's a story, um, that I read a long time ago, and some of you may have heard of it. It's called Stone Soup. So it's for those of you who have never heard of that story. Look it up. It's a book called Stone Soup. And what happens in that book, um, is a gentleman comes into town, and he's hungry, and he goes around. He asks people for food, and nobody's kind of willing to help him. So he goes into the middle of town, and I don't remember how he got the kettle, but he found a kettle, and he had a stone, and he took the stone and he poured some water in the kettle, and he dropped the stone in the kettle, and somebody walked up to him and they said, "Hey, what are you doing?" He said, "I'm cooking stone soup." And they say, "Well, what's in it?" you know and he told them about the stone soup, and they said, "Well, hey, I got some carrots." And they ran back home and they got some carrots. So, and I don't want to make it a long story, but because it's fun to read it. But in the end, everybody in town started bringing things to put in the soup pot. And People brought tables and chairs and things like that. And what he did was he actually in that one moment, he built a community, and he did it with a stone. Um, and to me, that's what the Volt community is, because I could sit here and start drilling off names of the people that have come in the chat over the last 13 months, and each one of them, um, you know, bring something, really awesome, all the way from the power of power, all the way down to the innocence of Cat Young. So when you think about the diversity between those two people, and those two people are in the same chat, um, you know, having an effect, because as much as power affects the chat, Cat Young also affects the chat.
Yep.
And she affects the community with just as much power as power does, but in a different way, and that's what makes the community amazing. Because it's not always about business. It's about life, and that's kind of where I think that vote to eco is going.
Mm. So with that, you led into the question. We know Volti Eco is already obviously in play. What do you think Volti Soft is? What do you think it all
So
consists?
so this is just my way of thinking now. So
Mm-hmm.
um, like an ecosystem is about life. So inside of an ecosystem gives life. Uh, ecosystem, you can live off of the ecosystem, and with an ecosystem, um, you get back from an ecosystem what you put into it. An example of ecosystem would be like the Everglades. Um, you know, um, you have a foundation in the ecosystem in the Everglades. It would be the water, and all of the life kind of surrounds the water, um, and the marshes and things like that. So for Volt, the ecosystem is the community that Botoshi has built, and then the community interacts with um, all of the um, utilities that Votoshi has given us, and that kind of creates the life of it. So, from the standpoint of the crypto space, Volt will be an ecosystem that you can live off of. You know, um, and what I mean by that is, we already talk about um, the Volt tree, and how that came about, and and I was there the day that came about, and took part in developing that, and it's still here, and a lot of people understand it, and we probably don't talk about it as much as we should, but it's there. So you kind of think about that Volt tree kind of being in the center of this ecosystem. And then you got Volti change. So how does that fit into things? So Volti change allows us to interact with Volt, with just Volt. You know, because before, if you wanted to buy Volt, you had to go to Pancake Swap, or you had to go to um, um, that other place. I'm sorry. Just
You're
jumped out of
fine.
my head. Must be coffee. But so Voltage Change is in my brain already. So you can go to Voltage Change and we interact with Voltage Change. And the thing about interacting with Voltage Change is when you buy on Voltage Change, it interacts back with you because it's burning our token. And every time you interact with it, whether you realize it or not, you actually increase the value of the token because you're burning the token. So the other thing that Voltage Change has done is because it comes out of our community, um, it's allowing other people and other projects outside of the community to interact inside of our community, and that's kind of the start of building the ecosystem. So, oh, go ahead.
No, I'm just in amazement at the complex. It's very complex. He say simple, but it's complex because it's so many moving parts that have to work together. You know.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what ecosystem is. So you see a lot of these other projects, and they say, "Oh, we got an ecosystem." They don't have an ecosystem. They got one or two little things, but in order for an ecosystem to thrive, it has to be diverse. And Volt is, I would say, the most diverse, has the most diverse community. I've been saying that for the last year. Has a global community, and the reactions, the actions inside of Volt are also very, 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 very diverse. So when you look at voltage change and you see what's already happening, I mean, 69 projects already, and it's been less than 3 weeks. So, that's pretty amazing. And I want people to say that it's amazing because it's easy for us to get lazy because Botoshi does so much. 108 exchanges in unbelievable. I mean, there's only 365 days in a year. So, that's why I say if you take the bird's eye view, 108 exchanges in 365 days. Wow. Um, how
Who's
can you
working
how can you
hard?
yeah, how can you not be voted? I mean, that's an exchange every 72 hours. Who does that? The exchanges, the partnerships, already. So what you don't realize is when he says, "Well, the ecosystem is already there," he's telling you the truth because already you would never have to, and I think Pablo was talking about this a little earlier, but you would never have to sell your vote, and you could already live off of your vote. If you really take a look at the partnerships that he's already set up, you can pretty much buy anything that you want already with your vote. But now it's foundation time, so I wouldn't suggest that you sell your vote right now, or um, that you spend too much of it right now. Let the value increase, and then do the apple tree thing. While everybody else is going crazy and doing FOMO, you'll be able to kind of sit back and enjoy it until they get to the point where you are, because votes going a long way.
Yeah, yeah. It's going. It from the day I came into now, it's just evolved into something that's. I mean, you just can't even put into so many pieces. I keep saying it's so many pieces that it's really, really hard to grasp a hold of it. Dag, I had this question I wanted to ask you. Oh my gosh. Okay. When you said, let's see. Um, wow, 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 wow. What was it? Oh, dang. I want to ask a question. Well, I'll ask another one for the moment. Shoot, 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 shoot,
I
shoot.
get that way too. That's the tequila.
Cause it's like it was just right there, and then it went bam. Okay. Oh man, busy. Cause you was on this, and it was like, okay, 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 okay.
Was it something with the ecosystem or voltage change?
It's everything. Oh, okay. I'll just hit on this for right now until I figure out the volt. I think it was VoltiFlex. That's what it was.
Okay.
But Pablo, had us all spinning today. That's right, Ja. You know where I'm going at, Just load it up on that vote card, man. That's right, Ja. You know where I'm going, right?
Oh yeah. Okay.
Woo! Going to the card. Butoshi was there like somebody put a little card in the chat yesterday, and he was like, buy that on the Kira said something, and he said you can buy that with the vote card. You can buy a Lambo with the vote card. Do you hear me? Vote card.
Yeah.
Today,
So
Pablo's like, like crypto.com. What is it? The levels that you have to purchase in order to get those cards and stuff? 500 a pop. Oh my God.
yeah, it's expensive, isn't it? So I have a thought about that. So you remember that article that I sent you? Um, I think one of the articles that I sent you, it talked about uh, crypto savings, and it kind of talked about how that can be done. So I listened to what some of the other people were saying earlier, and most of them were saying, I mean, they were right online, but I don't know if that's what Voltoshi's going to do because all the stuff that Voltoshi does seems to be extraordinary. So, um, so let
That's
me give you an
facts right there.
example of yeah. Let me give you the example of what it could be. So it could be what they call co-branded cards, and what those are is you've probably seen those before, and that's where um, you may have a card that you get through a hotel. You got that Visa, the Choice Visa card. So it's like Choice Hotels, but it's a Visa card, and you get all kind of rewards for using that card uh, through the partner. You know, but you also get rewards just for using the card. So every time if you have one that's with the cruise line or with the airline, every time you book a flight on the airline, you get rewards, and maybe those rewards are Volt or ETH. Um, depending on how that happens. The other branded card is kind of like everybody. Some people were thinking is it's going to have the Volt logo on it, and you'll be like money bags. You'll be able to walk in somewhere and you'll be able to slam that card down in their face and say, "Bam! This is here's my vote card, baby." And run it up. So that's another way.
I
Um,
like to hear. I like the sound of that. Run it up.
yeah, yeah, run it up. Yeah, yeah, run
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 it
run it up
up.
because by tomorrow my reflections will have covered everything I just spent. you know. Um, but another way is something that I've talked to my children and that I talk to other people about. The other way that I think, and this is just me thinking, complete, just me thinking, is be the bank. Um, and what I mean by that is, uh, what if what if um, there is a way inside this ecosystem, because like I said, ecosystem, you can live off of it, and inside the ecosystem you create businesses, and maybe, just maybe, Votoshi is thinking about a way to create a community that also creates businesses. So the community becomes almost like a city or ecosystem. So let's say that Ladybug has put a bag back, and that bag has 1 billion tokens in it. And VoltiEco is out, and VoltiFlex is coming out, and I don't, like I said, this is just my thinking. And there's a chance in there that Ladybug can kind of become her own bank, or she can put, you know,
What?
a
What you
hundred
said?
a hundred million. Yeah, she can put 100 million of her Volt tokens into a pot, and I can put 100 millions of my Volt tokens into a pot, and so on and so forth. You know, and you know, these exchanges and these banks, you know, they use the same tokens that we use. So what if we put our tokens in a kitty, and then we loan them out to the banks, and or to
Mm,
the exchanges, and maybe that's how the exchanges get their tokens. They buy their tokens from our bank, or they can borrow their tokens from our bank. They can put the tokens on their exchanges, and then they can openly trade them, and they make their money off of fees. And then what do? They send us back our money, and then we all take a cut of it, and that's how you become a bank. That's all the bankers that exist now. That's exactly what they do. you know all of those big families that you hear about, the Rothschilds and this, that, and the other.
hmm.
They loan money. They loan money to the banks at an interest rate, and those banks, governments, they take that money. Even our government does. We borrow money from the Federal Reserve, and our government uses that money, and then we pay them back with interest. That's where our debt comes from.
Did you
So
hear that guy in the chat yesterday talking about that?
no, I did not. But
He
but
said
like I said,
he said that.
oh, go ahead. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No,
I got a little bit
I
of a
was just
delay.
like I just yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's a possibility. So I mean, I'm not the only person thinking that way. If somebody else said that, so that could be a part of Otoshi's vision. I don't know that it is, but I mean, it could be. So you don't want to you don't want to sell your bag if any of those things are coming.
Wow. Wow. What I said you got them spinning. Think you're onto something, busy. Pablo
Yeah,
pretty much said the same today too. So it's like it's and for me, I was three people confirmation, whatever. But I mean, just hitting all that on top of the head, man. It's crazy. It's freaking crazy.
yeah.
It's
Yeah, and
crazy.
that's just one thing that can happen in an ecosystem. I mean, there's so many other things that can happen in an ecosystem, where people create other businesses, and the community interacts with each other. You know, and P to P, peer to peer, inside the ecosystem. So here's something else I was thinking about. So imagine this. Trust. That's a big thing, and that's one of the things that I think people really like about the blockchain, and people really like about crypto, is you know you and I could never see each other's face, but we can enter into a contract, and inside of ecosystem. What if you know Votoshi's so good with contracts? What if he's got people working on contracts that you can enter on one side or the other, to create P2P exchanges? An example would be, I heard the guys talking the other day about betting on the football game. So, they said, well, I would have bet 100 million vote. And the other guy said, I would have bet more than that. So let's say you bet on the football game the other day, um, the Cowboys and the 49ers, and you put $1 million in, and I put $1 million in, and you said, I think the 49ers are going to win. And I said, you crazy. I'm a Cowboy fan. There ain't no way the 49ers. And if they win by 3 points, you get $1 million, and then you'll get a bonus, another bonus, a half a million. And so now I have to connect my wallet and put my 1.5 million vote in there, and then on the other side you connect your wallet, and because you only bet a million, you put your million in there, and then we kind of type into the contract, as long as um, San Francisco wins by 3 points, um, you'll get the entire amount. If they just win, you only get a million. But if they lose, then I get the million. So the game goes on, and then San Francisco wins by what they won by. I think they won by like 7 points. Well, as soon as that gets validated, guess what happens? You get your money back, you get my money, and the contract is done. It's done on the blockchain, and it's a good deal. So just imagine that there's contracts set up like that for buying homes, buying cars, all kind of businesses, and contracts that you can enter in with some of the vote partners, that are safe, what I would call safe contracts, because they've
Mm.
been created by the community for the community.
I wanted to look fly to the moon, and you've hit on, I think, anyway. But it's just it's like, what if your vote is held on the card, and when you purchase, it converts to your fiat, converts yours to fiat, but your card still receives reflections while it's on there. And then these comments that came in afterwards, because I'm gonna tell you right now, flying to the moon, that is so freaking bullish. That's like you're spinning.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
are spinning, bro. You spinning. But I had to make sure I know that, because yeah, he's definitely bullish. But then Josh says this: Fly. What, I don't think it'll have to convert to fiat. I think maybe digital is the new wave. So, what do you think about that part? That end part, digital new wave. It's
So
always been
so
digital. Isn't
yeah, so that's the part that I definitely agree with. I would say more crypto. I think uh, I think the governments are trying to call it digital because they want to kind of control the language. And if you control the language, you can kind of control the space. Um, but you know, for my part in thinking, um, I don't really think, um, it's really wise to keep going back to fiat with your crypto. And everybody always thinks money. Everything is right now, um, um, put up against the dollar, and that's okay because that's the way we think. And I talked once about conversations that we have. You can have almost any conversation you want, and a dollar, the value of the dollar or the need in the dollar will pop up in it. But eventually, that's going to turn to crypto. Um, and it's when it hits, it's going to hit fast. It's going to be so fast that your head's going to be spinning. It was the same way with when the dollar first came in. People's head was spinning because they went from their own fiat currency to having to have dollars. Um, so the other thing that I would say is, and this might be kind of, and this is just my thinking, there is not enough money in the world. Um, and what I mean by that is there are poor people because there is not enough money in the world. And the money that's out there today can be easily collected and hoarded, and kept away. But crypto is something different. Um, there's enough crypto to go around the space, and there can be enough crypto developed to go around the space so that you don't have people that don't have a type of currency to live off of.
Wow. Wow. But you know what I'm thinking? There's gonna be so many currencies. There's gonna be so many tokens that are gonna be being created. You know, like what Starbucks has to have their own. You know, all these individual companies, and then people as well. I wonder how. And this is obviously I'm thinking way down. But wouldn't that be like an overload? I wonder how they would kind of like divide it or censor it or whatever. You understand what I'm saying? Might the
So
market might be overpopulated.
so I do understand what you're saying. At the same time, um, the so that's kind of why we ended up with money, because money kind of took us the opposite way. Um, so I always talk about, like, I think the Amish, and some of those type of communities as an example, because what they have value inside their community, the things that they trade that aren't money, um, and they've created value inside their community, and then they can turn around and also sell that value outside of their community. So if you look at the so-called African American community in the United States, and you look at like hip hop or rap, that was something that was created inside the community, and it gained value inside of the community, to the point where people was willing to pay for it, pay to go into clubs and parties and things like that. And then people from outside of the community saw the value in it, and now they're making billions of dollars off of it, probably even more than the community does. But that's what happens inside of communities. You kind of see the same thing in casinos. Casinos have their own tokens. You go inside the casino, you convert your fiat to their token. You play, and you try to walk out with more fiat than
That's the plan,
that,
isn't
that,
it?
that
That's
yeah.
always the
Then,
plan.
yeah, that's always the plan, right? Um, but even inside families, there's a type of currency that kind of goes around, and it's not taxed. It's not taxed. So there's values in a lot of those things. So to me, that's what crypto is. The dollar, I don't think they really worry too much about the dollar, because the dollar actually operates on both sides of the line.
Mhm.
So, like, if you got $5, and I got a necklace that I'm selling, and I say I'll sell you this necklace for $5, and you give me the $5, I give you the necklace. We just made a P2P transaction, and it didn't cost you any tax. I'm not going to report it to the government. You're not going to report it. So they know things like that happen with the dollar. But as soon as I take that dollar and walk into a store, and buy a chocolate bar, now I pay taxes on it. So they get the taxes off of that dollar, and then that dollar goes back out again, and they get the taxes off that dollar so many times, that because it's in circulation,
Mm.
it's just ridiculous how much they make off of
You know
one off
what?
of $1.
I would have never thought of that until you just said that. You are so right. It's so much tax that people pay on $1.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
I told you I
That
was
was
going to tell you some
profound.
secrets.
Hey, that's profound right there. It's like there's no money left after all the taxes you pay on $1. We're paying the government to spend money. That's exactly what that
Exactly.
just sounds like to
Uh,
me.
Yes. Yeah, so that's why they're not really worried about, as long as the dollar is in circulation, they'll be okay. And it's probably going to be around for a while. There may be a time when you won't be able to find a physical dollar, because it's probably going to become digital at some point. Um, so you might want to keep a couple of dollars in a safe somewhere, because you might be able to sell them for a lot of volt someday, kind of as a keepsake or something like that. Ten,
Wow.
10, 10 years from now, they're probably, if things go the way it looks like they're going to go, there probably won't be any physical money. Now it's kind of hard to find change.
I know.
Um,
That's what they
so
said.
next it'll probably be the dollar.
Wow. And we're
Yeah,
watching this unfold. They're crazy.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So the thing I was going to tell you about, I'll show you a little secret. Um, can you pull up um, Google
Okay.
and show it on the screen?
Let me tell me what it is for, and then I can bring it up then.
So go to Google, and
Mm-hmm.
I want you to search the S&P 500 chart,
Mm,
and then put that chart up.
there it is. Just in case my internet starts moving slow, I like to try. I like to try to put it up. Let's see beforehand. Let's see.
And so if you're listening, you can, and you got a computer open, you can do this too.
All right, let's see. Can we use? Hold on. Let's see. I just did
Or
something
you can
here.
use whatever search you want, but just search
Well,
the S
this
and
is
P
what
500.
I'm looking at right now. You tell me. Hold on. Let me put it up here. Let's see. Share. Yeah, chart. Now this is just on the. Okay, let me scroll. This right here.
That's fine. That's good. Can you hit max? Is that
Hold on.
max?
No, it's just
Yeah, hit the
well.
max. Yeah, hit the
Let's
max.
see. Let's see. I don't know if I can hit.
It
Let's
should
see.
take you back to like 1984.
Oh, you're saying max? I thought you were talking about the size of the
Yeah,
screen.
no, hit the
Okay,
max
max.
start. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm there. I'm
Yeah.
there.
Okay.
Wow.
All right. So look at that chart. Okay. So remember I told you that the bear market was a false flag. Okay. So you're back in 1984, and you put $1,000 into the S&P 500. Or how far does that go back? Because I can't. Does it go back to 84?
It
Or
says
what's the?
83. It goes back to 83.
Okay.
It said
Okay.
when I
So
touched it,
83.
it said 83. Yeah.
Okay. So if you put $1,000 into Volt, or not, excuse me, not Volt, but into the S&P 500, then now look at that chart. Are you are you ever in a bear market?
No.
Okay. So go all the way up, and then hit the first place where it starts to go down.
Oh no, right here.
Okay. Now if you see where it starts to go down, if you bought right there at the top and you held and you keep going, what happens?
I mean, it goes down. Dump.
It goes
I would say
down,
it
but
dumps. If you
then
want, if I would use the terminology, it'd be like
right,
it's
right,
you
it
know.
dumps, but then what does it do? It dumps for a little while, and then what does
Hmm.
it do? It goes
So from
back up,
November
right?
the 10th till let's see, yeah, this is a lesson. November 10th of 2000, and now this is when it finally gets to the bottom. It's November 29th. That's 2 years. Two
Okay,
years later.
right, right. So really, if you look from 84 up to when it first dumped, the only people who lost anything was the people that bought at the top, right?
Correct.
But is that really the top? Because look at what happens as it goes forward, it keeps rising. Okay, so if you go all the way up to that highest peak, I think it went up to maybe 4,600.
Yeah.
Okay,
40, almost
so
47.
right now the only people that are in the bear market are who? The people who
Yeah,
bought
they're
at
loving
the
it.
right, the people who bought at the top. Okay, the people who bought at the very top are the only people who have who technically have lost anything. So that is what Warren Buffett is trying to tell you when he says find a solid stock that you can hold, that is a solid investment, that is doing all the right things, and hold on to it. Because if you look, the market seems to always eventually go up. Okay.
Wow.
All
Yeah.
right. So now look at that chart. Now do the same thing, but type in um, the Dow chart. So let's look at the Dow chart.
Dow Jones chart.
Yeah, look at the Dow Jones chart, and then put that one on max also when you get it.
They started at the same time, or that's the day that
Ah,
the charting
ah,
started.
ah, aha.
But look at their stock. Good Lord.
Aha.
That's Bitcoin prices.
So everything that people are telling you can't happen, it's already happened before, right? So you can see from that chart that about what 20 30 years ago,
Mhm.
it was what at maybe 1100 or 1200,
Yeah.
and now it's at 32 33. So and the thing that you'll notice about those two charts, they're almost identical.
Mm-hmm. The dips are almost, yeah, almost.
Yeah. Yeah, they're slightly off, but almost identical.
Right. That coming up right there is where, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I don't know if everybody can see the Dow chart because I'm still seeing the Nasdaq chart. Um,
Oh, my
but
bad.
but
I'm over here. I
oh,
thought
okay,
you should be able to see it. You don't see it? Yeah, that's the Dow chart.
Ladybug, you're keeping the secret to yourself.
No, that's the Dow chart.
Oh, okay,
The tinted one.
I
You
might,
don't see that?
yeah, it might
You
just
don't see
be me because I'm on my phone, so it might just be me. But if you look at those two charts, you'll see the same. So can we do one? Can we do one more? Uh,
yes.
yeah, I don't know if we'll be able to find this one, but put in the Dow Jones 100-year chart and see if you can find that one. So when you find that one, what you're going to see is it starts around 2019, 2019, 2020, 2021. And what you see on that one is you see the one of the first bull runs, and it ran from 1921ish, 22 all the way to 1931, where the market crash happened.
Okay. I don't know that I'm finding that one. They had
Okay.
it in writing, but it didn't have it in. I don't know. Maybe this is it. We'll see. I don't know. Come on now, internet. Okay. Is this it? Busy.
Yeah, my phone's a little slow, but if it's starting from 20, maybe 1920, and then goes all the way up to now, or about 2018,
Okay. I can't.
you
This one
should
is
be.
not like the other ones. It doesn't. Oh, yes, it does. Let me take it back. Okay, hold on. All right.
Yeah.
Actually, this one starts at move out of the way. All right. This one starts pretty early. If I can get it on there right. It did have the time. It's acting silly. But yeah, I thought this said 215 to 2015 is what I thought that was saying. Oh, there it is. There we go. No, this is 100 year.
Yeah, 100 year. That's it. That's what you
So
want.
it says 1915.
Okay, that's good. Yep, 1915.
Wow.
And then after 1915, somewhere around 1921, it takes off, uh,
Yeah,
goes up really high, and then around 1930 something, it drops. Right.
correct. Yeah.
Okay, and then a lot of people jumped off buildings and everything back then. But then look what it does after that.
But look how
It
high
just
that was
goes
in
up.
1930. That's $5,000. They probably did. That was a lot of money in 1930.
Yep,
Jeez.
yep, yep. But look what it does after that. The people who were able to hold on, those are the people that the families. Those are the people and the families that are the super rich 1%ers in this country.
Wow.
And if you
Wow.
look at that chart, it just goes up and up and up after that. And you see dips from time to
Mm-hmm.
time, but it always goes up. And if you look at it from where it was then to where it is now. So if you
Mm-hmm.
look back at the 1950, and that's kind of the start of the stock market. So the times that we're living in right now is the start of the crypto market.
Oh, okay. Okay.
See what I'm saying? So we talk about generational wealth. Um, when you start looking forward, it's almost like you were in 1915.
Wow. I'm looking at, I mean, yeah, wow. Wow. I didn't need
Yeah,
no more spinning. I'm like, we're like, wow.
right. And so a lot of the conditions that were created then, like a lot of the banks that exist now were created in that era. And then what are we looking at right now? We're looking at, and we are a part of, and we are in a project that is creating the first DeFi bank, maybe. So that's when all the banks were created, and that's where the stock market kind of really started. And back then, guess what? People were saying, "Hey, uh, I'm afraid to buy this stock stuff. I'm afraid to buy this paper. You want me to give you money for paper? You want me to give you money for paper that just has written on it that I own part of your company?" So just the other day I was talking to a friend of mine who works at corporate level and makes a six-figure salary, but he's like, "Hey man, tell me about this crypto." And he says, I hear about it, I know about it, but I'm afraid. And I told him, I said, well, when you buy stocks, now it's digital, but it used to be paper. You used to buy stocks and they would send you a piece of paper or send you an envelope in the mail that showed how much stock you had. So So crypto is building itself. Um, I sort of say the more things change, the more they stay the same. So crypto is building itself kind of the same way. Um, and to me, and like I said, Volt is that third wave, and the third wave is always the biggest wave. And nobody else is even close to doing what Votoshi is doing. So if you ask me, um, and again, this is just my thinking, um, Bitcoin and Volt were built in the same laboratory. Um,
Hey, the way you just showed me all this, I'm like, dang. I mean, okay. I mean, okay. I thought I was bullish, but I don't think I'm anywhere as bullish. I'm just like, oh my god, this is
yeah,
crazy. Oh my god. Oh wow.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah. I
this
mean,
is bullish. Yeah,
yeah. This is just the way I think about it.
yeah,
I look at like I say, I'm looking far forward. I look at crypto from the standpoint of you know, um, just similar to what Pablo was saying. You shouldn't have to sell your crypto at all. You should be able to use it. And right now, and like I said, I understand it. The concept is make $1 million. Um, make $1 million, pay 300,000 in taxes,
yeah,
and have $700,000, buy a car, buy a house, and then try to make another $1 million.
yeah,
Um, but with the value that Vote has, in this community, and with the value that I think that Votoshi will continue to add to Vote, um, that moon bag that you have, that's your bank bag.
yeah,
That's your Voti Eco bag. That's your flex bag. And like I told you that day before he announced Flex, and I said that reading the contract and seeing what Volt is doing, it just feels like it's meant to flex. And so when he
yeah,
announced VoltiFlex, I was like, okay, so I guess I was on the right track for the vision. And I still think that Volt is bottomless and limitless at the same time because
yeah,
it looks like it's built to flex into all spaces. Looks like it can partner with just about anything, um, and it can flex to the ideas of the community. Just like all of the great ideas we've heard from people over the last couple of days about what VoltiFlex could be and how it can operate inside the community. And that just tells me that inside of our community that people are going to use the ecosystem and they're going to flex like hell, you
yeah.
know?
So
Yeah.
with that being said, we got a few minutes. 'Cause I actually got to jump on another live help, but um,
Yeah.
yeah, they got me working tonight. So with that being said, what do you want to end with? And I would love to have you back. By the way, like seriously, like soon too. But anyway, I just thought I'd throw that out there. But what would you like to end with? What would you like to share for today with the people, the vote army?
Um, yeah, I would say the word you just used is share. I know a lot of times it gets frustrating because you got it. You know what you know, and when you know. And sometimes you talk to family members, you talk to friends, you talk to coworkers, and it's frustrating as heck because you're trying to give them something. You're trying to give them the gift that's been given to you, and you know in your mind, and you're voted, and you want to see them prosper too. Um, but don't try to be a salesperson because vote will sell itself. Just point them in the right direction. Get them to the link tree, and then say, hey. call me when you got questions, because they're going to see Volt, they're going to hear about Volt, and they're going to turn around and they're going to come back to you. It's already happening to me. I'm sure it's probably already happening to you. Um, you know, just real quick, a lot of the big influencers, I've still got copies of tweets that I sent them, back in January, or when I was in their Twitter Spaces, trying to get their attention, and they blocked me, and they kicked me off Twitter, and now, I'm tweeting all these people, um, and they may not respond to me, but they're not blocking me. So I know they're looking at my tweets. Um, a lot of them are starting to like my tweets, and I mean, now I'm seeing them in AMAs with us. These are the same people who last January, were calling a scam, and this, that, and the other. So if those people can be turned around, then anybody else out there that you're talking to can be turned around. So, just be, I put this in the chat a lot of times, just be a good salesperson. You don't have to be a salesperson. Just like sharing a movie, tell them about the exciting parts and then say, there you go. Um, you know, take a look at it, and let me know, when you're ready to go. And I think that's really the best thing that we can do for our friends and family right now. And just be prepared for when that data hits. Be prepared to have them all on some type of call and be walking them through how to buy on change, because it's coming.
Sounds awesome. Thank you, Busy. And until the next time, guys, stay volted. Oh my goodness. Yes. I love